What's going on, everybody? This is John Hester here with Hester Edition Elka suspension, and today I'm showing off the KRX shocks. This is for both the 2-seat and 4-seat now, exclusive from us. So right behind we have this 4-door right here. These are the prototype shocks that I was testing here, so there's going to be a few changes on the production shocks, but huge upgrade. When you want an absolute game changer in ride and performance, number one key, number one word, performance. So the stock Fox shocks, you have to think like a bean counter at a big manufacturing company like Kawasaki. So you can't blame Fox. That's why you see numerous owners, after just a couple of rides, they've lost a couple inches of ground clearance because the cheap springs. They have to cut corners to keep the profits high on manufacturers. So, like I said, you can't blame Fox for this, but this is where we come in. So, the Fox shocks that come standard. Now, this is for the non-ES, non-electronic suspension systems, okay? So, like the blackout, the base models, all that stuff. If it does not have the ES suspension, then you're perfect to upgrade with our suspension. This is where the big upgrade is going to be. Pretty much anybody racing and everything, they're not really using the live valve anyways, because they can't get the tunability out of it. They can't get the fine tuning. Our shocks, this is the beautiful thing. So we have extremely high quality springs. You're not going to be sagging, which is very nice. Ride height is properly set, so you're no longer going to be sitting like this stock one here. When it's brand new, it's 14.5 inches. After you take it for a couple rides, you're more like 12 inches, 12.5 inches. These are going to sit you at almost 16 inches with 31s. You put bigger tires, you're going to be sitting up higher. So it's going to be sitting up, getting you a proper ride height. So ride height is going to be better. You have, unlike the Fox shocks that have only low speed compression adjustability and only a very small amount, like 12 clicks of it. We have right here high speed and low speed compression clickers. We have 40 clicks of low speed, 40 clicks of high speed. And then here's the biggest performance deal, because anybody that's ever seen a KRX jump or drive a KRX and hit a jump, you know them suckers like to cartwheel end over end because they don't have rebound control. Well, guess what? We have rebound control. 40 clicks of tunability on rebound. So this is a full-on race grade weaponry here. We also have caps that protect the Schrader valves. The Schrader valves are up further up in here, and we also have these caps right here which protect the shocks, the Schrader valves, from any type of damage that could come up to it. The other thing everybody knows, and trust me, I'm not dogging Fox, I'm dogging what Fox had to do this to the suspension to meet the pay scale that Kawasaki required, okay? So they have to use cheap Chinese internals. They have to use cheap, the pathways up here, the ports and everything are so microscopic and everything. They have to make them as cheap as possible to make that money for Kawasaki. So, you know, Fox isn't going to sell Kawasaki $5,000, $6,000 suspension system. They're probably selling them $500 or $600 shocks. I'm talking not a piece, the whole set of 4. That's probably what they cost to be made. So, like I said, you can't blame Fox for it. So, you have a good company, a lot of potential, but you will throw more money into that shock to compete with this. Twice as much. You'll spend more than twice as much on that. You're going to have another thing that the Fox shocks are notorious for is the cheap bushings. I mean, how many times, God, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I scroll through on the KRX pages on Facebook or see on YouTube, and the bottom bushings are just shot because they're cheap Chinesium. Well, we don't use bushings. We use an actual bearing on both top and bottom. So we have bearings with nice aluminum spacers. Everything is absolutely precision fitment. There's an O-ring there just to keep mud and everything out of the bearing. It's a sealed bearing. So it's all about durability, reliability, extremely high quality. You have lots of preload adjustment. You have crossover so you can fine tune where your tender spring bottoms out and the set, you know, where you can fine tune everything, where the change in rate comes at what point in the stroke. You have all these clickers to fine tune. It's just absolutely amazing. When you have a shock that has this much tunability, you can sit there and it's limitless for every type of terrain, every type of driver. It doesn't matter. We can tune for absolute race perfection. If you're racing a KRX, you want to get our shocks. It's guaranteed. I will drop lap time off of your racing with our suspension. Another nice thing, like I said, these are prototypes. These are 8-inch reservoirs. Now, the production fronts are going to have a 10-inch reservoir and rears are going to have a 12-inch reservoir. So we're amplifying the capacity. Now, Fox does have a larger reservoir like on the rear, but the bladder in there is only but a few ounces. You actually, anybody that rebuilds these, they know they tear that apart, they put in a correct bladder and everything like that to vastly improve the capacity. So whenever you spend a lot of money upgrading the Fox shocks, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So if you're racing, you probably dumped $10,000 to $12,000 in getting your suspension set up right, which these are less than $6,000 for the entire set of 4. Then you can sell those shocks to somebody else that wrecks their machine or bends a shock or whatever. So I wanted to go over these real quick. These are the rear shocks here. These two massive shocks right here are the rear. You have 20. The KRX already has perfect geometry. It's one of the best side-by-sides in the industry for geometry. The negative camber geometry that it has is perfect for trails, for, you know, performance driving and everything like that. So there's not any type of a change when it comes to wheel travel numbers, because there is already every bit used up. When you're in a sport side-by-side category, you get into a big pure sport side-by-side like this, it's not like on mules or ridges or TRXs where, you know, they're more utilitarian, so they're not using their full potential. They just like, let's put a shock in there and let's call it good. They do spend more time, and they did a heck of a job. So, you know, they had to hire somebody that basically builds trophy truck suspension in order to design the geometry of this. So it's way ahead of the game when it comes to geometry. Then you put our shocks onto it, and the performance is, it's redonkulous, ladies and gentlemen. It is crazy. The difference in, you know, it's plush, but it has incredible bottom end resistance. The faster you go and harder you push it, where those shocks will fall on its face when you start hammering whoops or you hit jumps and stuff without putting money into it. I'm talking, you got to dump some serious money into those shocks to get them up to race ready. These, it's night and day. The harder you hit it, the more you charge, the bigger the gap is. I mean, it's like I said, you have to spend $10,000, $12,000 getting all the internals, everything done, high speed, low speed, rebound, proper springs, proper reservoirs, proper, the whole necks and everything with a good sized pathway to it. But man, it's night and day. So when you want the absolute highest performance, you want the Hester Edition Elka shocks for your KRX 2-door or 4-door. We have them for both. And like this blackout that's right here that does not have ES, it's going to bolt right up, and you're going to go hit the trails and at slow trails and everything, yeah, it's smooth, it's plush, it's absolutely amazing. You have tons of tunability to really set the suspension up. It's incredible. But when you start pushing these shocks, when you start driving the KRX like it wants to be driven, man, the performance is night and day. It's night and day. I'm talking, you know, trophy winning championship gathering type suspension right here. So thank you all. Right now, at the time of making this video, our website is not quite up. It's hestereditionelka.com. I'll have it down in the description below. Until then, because right now it's the middle of October, we're hoping to have our new website October 2025. So if you're watching this later down the line, we're going to be having our website built probably by the end of October 2025, early November. So if it's beyond that date time right now that you're watching this, then head to our website, hestereditionelka.com, all one word, and just click on go to your vehicle, pick out what you want, fill out, you know, they're all custom built for your weights, driving style, everything. It's all custom built right on the site there. Until then, you can give us a text. Text us at 575-445-3558. Now keep in mind, once the website goes up, the text number will no longer be available, but just hit that website. You can ask any questions or whatever that you want. We got videos on YouTube, everything. So thank you all for watching. God bless, and we'll see you out on the trails.